Right guys and girls, Mark Crossfield here, and today I'm going to talk to you about tee height. How high should you tee up the ball with your driver? It's a common question I often get answered. There's a lot of little things you can learn from this video. So it'll be very basic. So what tee height is, for all you new golfers to the channel. And if you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you want more free golf content, hit the like button if you like it as well. Just finding out where your tee height sweet spot is. It is a basic thing which we'll talk about and show you the reasons why you might change your tee height. Also, what we're going to talk about is that it can be quite complex, your tee height, and it can be used as a weapon on the course to get you round as well. Let's show you what I mean. So I'm going to start with orange, which is the highest tee height. I wouldn't play orange tee particularly. It feels too high, feels like I'm going to sky it, feels like I'm going to have to really get up at this ball. And basically the orange is putting more than half the ball above the top of my crown and my club. I don't feel like I've got a problem hitting it here, but I do feel like the strikes might get a bit off the top, and I would have to change how I'm swinging. I don't feel like my club's going to get to that ball. Those millimeters out with that tee height make me instantly feel like, oh, that's a bit uncomfortable. And that can be a good starting point for you. If you put the ball on a tee and it just thinks, oh, that's too high and that's too low, you can trust those feelings. There'll be reasons why something might feel high and something might feel low, and there might be reasons why you will tee it really low and it feels right, and you'll tee it really high and it feels right. That doesn't mean you should stick with it either, which is why you should do this test that I'm going to do here. So orange to start. I'm going to try and hit okay distance, not my hardest, but try and hit target with my kind of gaming shot. So I've hit that fine. Definitely a bit off the top of the club to kick us off. So not too high, it felt higher than that. It's not too bad at all. So teeing the ball up this high to me makes me feel like I've got to push it forwards. We often see this with people who want the ball way forward on their stance, who are hitting up and left to hit big high cuts. So one thing I do for them is I actually change the tee height and move the ball back and ask them to move differently. This tee height for me, this high, makes me feel like I want to get the ball forward, but hit more in, out and up at it. So get kind of back here and up and out of it. Again, golfers will react to these heights differently, which is why it's important that you do the 4-step test that I'm showing you here. So another one with the orange. Again, that feels like a nice shot. Feels like I'm going to struggle to not get it too high. And it does feel like I could get this moving, if anything, a little bit further left. We'll go pink next. So this is my tee height. These are the tees I take on the golf course. I would say this is probably the most common tee height with a driver. Again, I would say nearly half the ball above the top of the head of the club, which is your kind of benchmark. This one to me doesn't feel like I need to be up at it as much, but I still will be. And I feel like I can swing relatively straight with this tee height. So listen to the things I'm saying. Actually, the tee height is making me feel like I can swing from different directions, so out to in and in to out. It's not just up and down, because hitting up or hitting down also reflects path for most golfers, because in practice 3-dimensionals, they're all intertwined. Some of the easiest club path changes I've had with students is by moving tee height. That doesn't mean they hit target more, but I can show them how to move path straight away. You then have to get all the other matchups in place for them to hit target. It's not as simple as that. And I say that, for some people it is as simple as that. A little tweaky tee height and off they go. Didn't catch that one as good, but it didn't feel like I would hit it high or low. I feel like I can deliver that club how I want to with that height. And that is my tee height. Yellow one next. So this is now, ball feels like it's just above the sweet spot of the club. Not really much of the ball above the middle of the head. I am now feeling like I don't want to get behind the ball that much. I feel like I'm going to hit lower and, if anything, a bit fadier from here. Like I feel like I'm definitely going to move it low and a little bit that way as a general rule, even though that one hasn't. As someone who hits a high toe a lot, so hit high out on the toe, this tee height makes me feel like I am going to line up more with the sweet spot of the club, but I might lose a bit of launch and gain a bit of spin. Yeah, like that struck. Then the blue one, the finish, which is going to feel very low. So generally, people who come to me with low tees, if you've got someone who's got a low tee, they're definitely got more of an instinct to want it down and left as a general rule. Down and right as well, but not so much with the driver. They're down and left, so they can be kind of pull hooks and overcuts. Often it's golfers with a lot of speed who are teeing it low, and they're people who are scared of skying the ball is why they're getting lower and lower. So what you'll find with lower tees is they're maybe not so good at getting out of the ground with their feet, and I'm going to show you something I've captured on my plate nearer the end of the video to show you how that might be. Teeing it low actually encourages them to do the fault that they really should try and stop. But again, great test. Get the orange, get the pink, get the yellow, get the blue, run through these tee heights and look at the patterns. I'm going to show you mine in a minute because I think they're all gameable. This one feels driller and it feels like it's just going to hit a lovely little fairway finding cut. Not be long, but it's just going to be simple. I haven't done this test for years, and just by getting the ball lower on the tee with the blue tee here, I'm like looking at the shots thinking, cool, there are situations where I just need to hit it like 260 in the air. I don't need to hit a long one. I just need to hit target. And this is kind of making me feel like this might be a shot I will bring into my game more, which we'll show you in a second. It's amazing, actually. Now, the other thing as well, when you do the tee height test, see if you can adjust. Like, see if you are just swinging exactly the same for all of them. So the low tee, you catch it out of the bottom, the high tee, you sky it, and the medium tee, you find the middle. Because I'm finding there are patterns with strikes, but I'm still hitting the face. So there will be adjustments I'm doing, almost subconsciously staying down for that one and getting up for the higher tee. And that's a test in itself, because if you think about when you're on the golf course, and the reason I used to do this test loads with students is that there's how many shots do you play on the golf course where the ball is 0 degrees to your feet? You know, it's going to be 2 degrees above your feet, 8 degrees above your feet, 4 degrees below your feet. It's constantly moving up and down. And if you can't make those adjustments with that visual, this is a great way of practicing strike. This is a great way of practicing how to find different feels of staying down and getting up to get to that ball. And these are things good players are doing on the course constantly without even articulating it. Like, they wouldn't even be able to tell you they're doing it, but they are. Which is why I love the tee height test. It tells golfers so much more about the freedom of them playing, experiment and finding their patterns. So low tee again here, feels like it's going to come out low, spin a lot, and it's going to cut. So I'm instantly aiming at the left. I'm just going to hit it and let it move. Like, that's such a gameable drive. Let's show you the data. I captured data earlier, not these shots, so I could really concentrate on what I was doing and hit more shots. And I'll show you that because I think it really reflects what these tees are doing, and hopefully you can learn your tee heights from it. So first port of call here is you've got the orange, pink, yellow and the blue. So obviously this is the tee height. You can see how the orange and the pink are launching higher, the blue and the yellow coming out lower. What we're going to look how similar the ball speed is with all of them. So I'm gaming about a 160 ball speed. If I'm not playing with tee heights, I reckon I'm averaging 160 to 161s. And then look what happens to the carry. 285 from orange, 281 from pink, 267 from yellow, 264 from blue. So blue, yellow and orange and pink, you know, got two, it's a line in the sand here, isn't it, this blue line. Longer carries, shorter carries. And we see that reflecting in the spin. 2-3 in the orange, 2-2 in the orange, 2-3 in the pink, 2-8 and 2-9 in the other two. But ball speeds are maintaining. And if you look at the strike, you've got the yellow felt like it was slightly above the, you know, the sweet spot, which it is. Orange and pink allows me to get it high toe. Blue slightly down, but I reckon I could move that towards the middle a bit more. Other things that really change. Now, this is really interesting for people who are constantly out there trying to control paths and face the paths, those kind of ideas. Let's look at the club path. I moved the club path to make those tees work, just instinctively. So club path is 3 and 3 out to in, and it's 1 and 1 out to in, so pretty zeroed out with the higher tee. The higher tee for me does make me feel I can hit up and out. The lower tee makes me feel like I've got to hit down and left. So subject to what patterns you bring to the table, you're going to be using your tee height to manipulate your club paths to get direction, to get that ball moving, curving back on to your target. And if you want to change that, so you're someone who's hitting, you know, big cuts, if you're teeing it low, ball way forwards, you're going to be down and left massively. Teeing that ball up, moving it into a slightly more, say, middle of your stance position, trying to hit up and out. Like, change your club path like in seconds. And that's the point. If you don't do this test, you won't learn your patterns and you won't learn where your sweet spot is. And that's the thing. What tee height should I tee up my driver? Like, how high should I tee up my driver? Well, it's going to vary for everyone watching this video. Yes, the pink is going to capture most of you. That pink tee height is going to be the one that kind of the net casts over the most. But that doesn't mean you should always tee the ball up that high either, because watch this. If I know when I tee it up lower, the club path goes more left, I do lose a little bit of head speed as well, so speed is the answer. I want to tee it up high. Look, 112s down to 110s with the 2 lower. But what I can now do is play the patterns. So teeing it lower, shorter cutting, aiming up the left, little cut shot. So like what situations would I play that? They're carrying 260 plus, a 400-yard par 4, water all the way up the left. I could easily tee it lower and just move it away from that water constantly, knowing it's going to cut away from it. So I can use my tee height to play shots in situation. Now, this doesn't mean you go out there and tee it lower. You might hit different shots, but what you'll find is you have patterns with different tee heights, and you could use these different tee heights in situation as well. Put trouble all down one side. Let's say we put it on the right, you tee it up high and you always hit kind of high draws. That might be the answer. I'm going to tee this one up a little bit higher and know it's going to move away. These, again, things that good players are doing without articulating it to you. You're never going to see that on telly, how high they're particularly teeing it up, if they're going lower or higher. And you notice this more in irons, and you definitely notice it in fairway woods when you see the people on the telly hitting, say, a 3-wood from a tee or from a knocked up bit of turf. I know if I tee a 3-wood up, I'm going to feel like I draw it. If I put it on the ground, I feel like I'm just going to move straight to cut it. Again, I'm going to use that in situation. You can do that with your driver as well. So you can see from pink is my cutoff. Orange and pink very similar, but the orange makes me feel insecure. Yellow and blue are great if I want to hit shorter, little cutty ones that do feel like they're going to hug the target, or literally take the left trouble out of play a little bit more. I'm going to know I can aim up the middle and it'll go straight or move away from the issue up the left. So I'm going to do another test now. I'm going to go orange. And I'm going to try and hit this hard, okay? And then I'm going to go blue, so down to the lower, so the highest to the lowest. And I'm going to show you on my swing catalyst plate here what happens. So orange here to me makes me feel like I get the ball forwards, makes me feel like I'm really going to get out of my left side and up at it. And it does make me feel like I can absolutely belt this. Like it feels like I can send it. You can see it's trying to draw back. Like that's a 113 head, so which is faster for me. You'll see when I go to the blue, I won't get it up there. 161 ball, carrying 279. Like tee it high, really jump out at it and let it fly. There's situations where I might play that shot. Now the blue. Again, going to capture on my swing cat plate here. I'm going to aim up the left because I know it tends to fade. Still going to try and hit it hard. I'm not sure I can get to 113. And this one to me makes me feel like I'm going to stay down in my left side as well. It makes me feel like I want to, change my angle of attack and change my path. It's a little low here. You can see it moving, cutting back. It's 111, so it's 2 miles an hour slower. It's lower loft, which I'd expect, but it's a much higher spinning. It's only carrying 249 on that miss hit. So I know if I only need to hit the ball 250 to 270, this is a shot that is just going to work if there's anything I want to avoid at the left. Let's show you what I did in my swing with those, because the tee height is affecting how I use the ground as well. So let's just look at my impacts here with the 2 shots. So the one on the left here, you can see it's the orange tee, it's the higher tee. I'm just going to show you impact here. I've got 60% of my pressure on my lead foot, 40% on my trail. You can actually see my lead leg here is starting to straighten up. That's pretty straight for me because I bury in my lead leg a little bit. If we go over onto this one is the blue tee. You can't actually see it there. There it is. There's the blue tee. You might just see it there. And if we bring this back to impact, I'm now 75% pressure on my lead foot compared to 60. So, and you can see the bend in the lead knee. These adjustments on tee height with driver not only give me certain skills I can practice to get around the course, it changes how fast I swing. So let's pretend you're someone who wants to up your speed. If you're teeing it low, if you're going to use vertical force as one of your pressure, I'm 204% on the low tee to 261% on the high tee. The high tee gives me much better chance of getting out of my lead side and using more vertical force. So let's think about what we're saying. How high I tee the ball up with my driver is changing if I hit more up or more down at it. It's changing my path, so if I hit more out to in or straight or potential in to out. It's also changing how I react to the ground, which in turn delivers the face lower to the ground or higher to the ground, which will encourage different strikes. Now, where that's really going to apply is not only from the tee, where you find your tee height and you game it. Let's say pink is a good starting point for you all to get out there and game. And if you find you're skying it from a pink, you go a bit lower, you're probably going to be more buried in that left side. And go and have a lesson and see if you can change that, because you might be losing speed. You might be not being able to change path. Think about the amount of students I've had who, you know, try and hit more from the inside because they don't want to fade it, those kind of ideas, and they're teeing their driver low. I mean, it's just not going to happen very easily. You're going to be hitting in and down at it, which would just send it so low. The other thing that the tee height game, if you play this game and practice with some different heights, it's teaching you how to get out of lead side or stay in lead side, and where the situations of that might be really useful on the course is when the ball's on the ground. Let's pretend the ball's on the ground and you're someone who buries in lead lead leg, like I was with the blue, and you hit a good shot from a standard lie. Then what happens next? Whole ball set up in the rough. You still bury down there, you catch it off the top of the club, comes up shorter. Let's say the ball's above your feet and you're really burying in that lead side into impact and you catch the ground first. Vice versa, let's say you're really good at getting out of that lead side. You've got a nice high tee and then you get the ball below your feet and you're still trying to get really out of that lead side and up, and you top it. Playing this game with those different tee heights will allow you to get more skilled with the iron play. I even do this game with people with irons as well. Like, can you strike it out of the middle from a high, medium and a low tee? Play different tees, and it teaches them the feel of getting up, staying down, how the path changes. It really allows them to find their sweet spots. So yeah, I will tee it up with the pink 99.9% of the time. Doing this test again, which I haven't done for ages, and it's a bit lazy really. I should do it, I just haven't got the time. Seeing the blue tee there is definitely something I would game. Pink tee is my sweet spot for speed. So try and hit it hard and direction. So I'm like a 112 there. Didn't quite strike it all, but you can see it's one of the longest ones. For me, going down to all the way to the blue, that's going to be really good for hitting a different shape shot. And as well, an easy driver when I don't want to smash a free wood. Next time you're at the range, get some different tee heights. If you're on a grass range, use these. If you're out on the course, play some with these. Hit, you know, 2 shots with your standard one, and then hit 2 shots on each tee with the lower one, and see what the patterns are, see where you have to aim to get it in place, see if it can allow you to get round. There are free wins here, like there's free wins for you. Rule of thumb, half the ball above the top of the club is great. Great rule of thumb. But don't stick there. The other reason you'd want to practice with these different tees is, like I say, it will allow you to really work out how to get that club delivered at different heights. So to the ground, and a few millimeters above and a lot more above. And then you can take that and practice that with your irons and get better from the ground as well. Let me know if this makes sense. Post comments down below as always. Tee height, yes, you can find a sweet spot, but moving away from that sweet spot will only make you a more rounded golfer. Sometimes in golf, and certainly how the YouTube algorithm and rubbish kind of works that lots of people want to feed, you search for an answer, and sometimes the actual answer is that you need to go and play and experiment more. Here's the boundaries. Just giving definites, like you need to tee it this high, which I'm sure there's plenty of content out there doing, actually is going to make you a worse player in the long run. Thanks for watching. Let me know, as always, post comments down below. Let me know if this helps, and remember, if you want more interesting and entertaining golf videos around learning how to play your best golf, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and let me know if you like this type of video as well.